We're just outside of Bend, Oregon, and today we're riding Peterson Ridge. This is our friend Kristen. She is now a local here in Bend, but she's from our home county in California, which is really cool. So she's met up with us today and she's gonna go riding, which we love because it's always more fun to have friends to ride with.
Yes, looking forward to this.
Are you ready to go riding? You're being so patient. Okay.
This is great. It's not too hilly. It's just kind of slightly rolling, but it's a good spinny day to just get the legs going and you can push your speed a little bit without dying. Should be a good warm up to tomorrow when we're going to do some more riding in the mountains.
Today's mountain bike tip is about seats. Yesterday somebody shot me a message on YouTube and said, why would you ever have your seat more than one height? There's a couple reasons. First, we'll talk about the ideal seat height if there were no bumps. So what you want is to set your seat. I have a special seat, by the way. Most high-end new bikes come with these. You push a button and it extends. It's infinitely adjustable. So it can go anywhere from all the way down to all the way up. So, I'm so short I have to push it down to get on my bike. What you want is when your foot is at the bottom of your pedal stroke, you can put your heel on your pedal and then you raise your seat all the way. That way when the ball of your foot is there, your knee is about 95% straight. That's what you want. That's going to use different muscles and kind of balance out your legs so you're not using one muscle group the whole time. That's especially good for climbing, and when it's really steep, you can get forward on the front of the saddle right here and it'll put weight on the front tire to keep it from wheeling out. Now, if you watch people that ride horses, if you're going for a lazy trot through the day, you're sitting on the saddle, like that's how I ride a horse. But when you watch the race jockeys in the Kentucky Derby, they are in attack position, butt off the seat, and the horse is moving, but they're staying totally straight. That is what you want to do when you're going downhill, and that's why we lower our seat. We lower our seat to get it out of the way, and we're the jockeys, letting the bike follow the terrain while our body stays controlled. That way we can weight the front when we need, or weight the back, or lean back to keep from going over the front. By getting the seat out of the way, the bike is far more maneuverable, and you're more like that racing jockey letting the horse do its thing. So it's been really great that bikes now have adjustable seat posts like this. They're expensive, they're probably 300 bucks. They cannot be added to all bikes. Like bikes 10 years ago didn't have seat posts big enough around for these to fit in them. So they only fit on the newer bikes. And they're heavy. This probably adds, I can't remember the weight, probably 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds to your bike. That being said, as much as I love my full suspension bike, I would rather have a hardtail with a dropper post than a full suspension with a seat that's stuck in one place. Back in the days when I was learning, I had the quick release and I just had to either have it up or down and I'd have to stop every time and adjust it. So I'd leave it up for my climbs up and then I'd put it all the way down when I'd go flying downhill. Problem is a lot of trails go up and down and you need both. So if you can only have one seat position, if you don't have a dropper post, I would set it to your max height and then lower it 1 inch to 1.5 inches. That's kind of a compromise there. You're still getting a lot of your good muscle groups to climb, but it's not so high that you feel like you're about to fall over and every little rock is gonna make you topple over. So it still gives you some room to move around on the bike, but still let your legs be in their optimal range. Anyway, there's a whole bunch about seats. One other thing I'll mention about seats, I was gonna do another video, but while we're talking about seats, a lot of people think the thicker, the squishiest, the more gel seat in there, the better and the more comfy it'll be. And that's true for the first mile. But after you've been sitting in it, squishing away all day, the gel actually pushes together and makes a ridge right where you don't want it on your sitting parts, and it actually causes more problems. And seats are sold in 3 different widths. So you can go to your local bike shop, sit on a sit bone measurer, because everyone has different size hips and sit bones, and they can tell you what width seat you need. And so my seat's kind of rock hard, and it hurt the first 3 or 4 times I rode it. But now that I'm used to it, it's ergonomically and anatomically correct so that my sit bones sit right where they need, and they have a little cutout here so I'm not sitting on my squishy parts that are important not to sit on. And a good saddle is worth its weight in gold. So even if you have a cheap $200 or $300 bike, go spend 50 to 150 bucks on a saddle. If you ride a lot, it will make a world of a difference. Teresa, when she started riding, she was using one of my men's saddles and it still wasn't working for her, but she even got some numbness while she was riding. And that's no fun. And so what we did is we went out and got her fitted, and she has a specialized women's specific seat because women's anatomy is different than men's, and so the cutouts are different. I think it's a myth. We highly recommend that saddle. It made a huge difference for her, and now she doesn't have any numbness or discomfort. So saddle height's important, saddle build is important, and also you can adjust your saddle forward and back. If all this is overwhelming to you, just go to your bike shop and talk to them, and they can fit you, and you can take your bike in and they can professionally adjust where your saddle needs to be. Because if your saddle's in the wrong place and you ride 200, 300, 400 miles on it over the course of several months, you can develop joint pain and problems if it's not set up right. Hope that helped for you newbies out there, and those of you who aren't newbies. If you have any other questions about bike stuff and you want to suggest a topic to talk about the bikes in the future, post it in the comments below.
It's cool seeing all these piles of lava rock that just push up. It's awesome.
They did a great job making these trails. Ooh, that was not as smooth as it could have been. Nice job. Great job pedaling through that. That's where the 29er is super nice. Rolls through this a lot better.
This is Kristen's first season on her bike, and Steve is in heaven because he loves all things bike geekery. So right now they're having fun dialing in her bike a little bit. All right, now they're adjusting how high the brakes sit and how close the lever is.
This is cool. Yeah, little bobsled run. Nice job. Unfortunately, Kristen took a spill up there and couldn't get unclipped in time and reached over and tweaked her wrist as she was going down. That's such a bummer. So we're gonna be taking it easy on the way down. Hope she's all right. So Kristen is super tough, but her wrist is hurting her. So we are going to zip down and get Fred, and there's a fire road up here. We'll just come up the fire road and meet her and pick her up there. Go on, Fender, go on. Just look far ahead. Do not get target fixation. You need to be looking 20 feet ahead. They've got these kamikaze chipmunks on this trail. The trail's all clear, and then 2 feet in front of you, they decide it's time to cross and just dart right out in front of you. Haven't hit one, but I've come awfully close. They just, I don't know what the deal is. They're kind of like deer. They wait till you're close and then try to cross. All right, let's go get Kristen. She's probably waiting by the side of the road by now. Stinks that happens, but accidents do happen. But she's a good sport. Kristen is safe. We got her. And we're on the world's bumpiest road, which is awesome when you have a broken joint. Oh, she's a good sport though. Her texting speeds are gonna be cut in half now. Her left thumb is gonna be a little slower.
Kristen's back at her car, bike locked up. She's gonna go get that arm checked out, get it x-rayed. Fingers crossed.
Unfortunately, it's probably broken. It was a 1/2 a mile an hour crash. She was just going up, it got chunky, couldn't get unclipped fast enough and just fell over sideways, stuck her arm out, and like she says, it's a typical snowboarder's fall where you've got so much leverage on your arm and it just breaks that little bone in there. Hope it's not broken. Best wishes, get better soon, Kristen.